front page of the Wall Street Journal. Trump urges U.S. takeover of Gaza. Front page of the New York Times. Trump proposing takeover of Gaza as a U.S. territory. Where is Gaza? Most Americans cannot tell you. So let's first just educate all of you and catch you up to speed on where in the world is Gaza. Well, Gaza is a very interesting piece of the Middle East. Its history dates back all the way to 15th century BCE. It was an important city in ancient Egypt and even the Philistines. Seems that there's always been conflict around this specific sliver. Let's show the map. Now, when you talk about Israel, Israel is about the size of New Jersey. Israel, as it is in this particular map, is the turquoise on the map. The more brown color, as I see it presented, is what would be called the Palestinian Authority. This is a very important point. Is that the Palestinian Authority, what usually here is the West Bank, meaning it's west of the Jordan River, is Judea and Samaria. There you'll have Hebron. There you have Nablus. There you have the major metropolitan centers of the Palestinian Authority. What most people don't understand, though, is that there is a separate area of Arab Palestinian Authority control, which is not contiguous. It is discontiguous. And that is the Gaza Strip. You can see the Gaza Strip right there, which is positioned near the southwest corner of the state of Israel. And the Gaza Strip is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's right on the Mediterranean, has rolling hills, vineyards, orchards. It is legitimately could be the new Beirut. Well, when Beirut was actually very nice. It could be a Hong Kong. It could be a Singapore. It could be a beautiful beacon. But there's been a lot of conflict over Gaza throughout the years. So Gaza, we'll just kind of fast forward to more modern time. Of course, we had the creation of the State of Israel in the 1940s. And as the creation of the State of Israel happened, there was a lot of conflict of, well, who's actually going to control Gaza? Interestingly, Gaza was under Egyptian control from 1948 to 1967. It was not formally annexed by Egypt, but Palestinian national identity, whatever that is, however you want to explain it, started to take shape. Now, in 1967, there was something called the Six-Day War. Very famous Six-Day War, where Israel captured the Gaza Strip and basically controlled it for the next 40 years. From there, you started to see a lot of people in Gaza that were Arab, Palestinian, Muslim start to get a little bit discontent. There was a lot of resentment. There was something from 1987 to 1993, which was called the First Intifada. It was an uprising against Israeli occupation that began in Gaza, marking a key moment in what they would call the struggle for self-determination. There was also the Oslo Accords that were authored by Bill Clinton, signed in the early 1990s, and established the Palestinian Authority and set the framework for Palestinian self-rule. Now, understand, the people of Gaza that call themselves Palestinian, they've always wanted to govern themselves. We don't want to be under Israeli rule. We don't want to be under Israeli rule. Now, Hamas started to rise up in the late 1980s as a radical Islamic resistance movement. As it started to percolate and manifest, more and more radical anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, Jew hatred rhetoric started to metastasize in the Gaza Strip. Then in 2005, the big decision was made. And yes, please keep that map up on screen. In 2005, Israel made the decision to unilaterally withdraw from Gaza, dismantling settlements and evacuating military personnel. Basically, Israel said, forget it. We're done. This is too much headache, too much consternation. It's nothing but problems for us. If you guys really want to govern yourselves, have at it, Gaza. Have at it, Hamas. Have at it, Palestinian Authority. A couple years later, in 2007, following violent clashes between Hamas and Fatah, Hamas took complete control of the Gaza Strip, further deepening the political division between Gaza and the West Bank. Now, they've always wanted self-determination, and that's what they got, but they really also wanted more than that. They didn't just want self-determination. They wanted free stuff. They wanted aid. They also wanted Israel not to exist. Now, let me reiterate. Gaza could be a lovely place. The problem is the people who rule it. Israel, in a past time, also captured the entire Sinai. What's notable is they gave back the Sinai, but not Gaza in the peace deal. The whole idea was land for peace. We're going to give you land and we're going to get peace. But land for peace has never worked. Hamas wants to destroy Israel on the most radical elements of Islamic fundamentalism to control the Gaza Strip. Now, as I keep that map up on screen for just one more second, all of the activity on October 7th originated from the Gaza Strip, not from the West Bank. The Gaza Strip was the launching off point. The Gaza Strip, controlled by Hamas, is where they went to the rave concert. They went into the kibbutzes. They went into the nurseries. They went into the little schools. They went into the synagogues. It was the launching off point in the Gaza Strip, not in the West Bank. So that fast forward now to today, where it's a major mess. When Israel has now done their response to the horrific, unspeakable mini Holocaust on October 7th, it has all been in the Gaza Strip. It has been focused on the Gaza Strip. And the untold military story, which honestly the media has had a lot to cover the last year and a half, is yes, the IDF has been largely successful, but not nearly as much as they would have liked. And this is a pattern that America experienced in Vietnam, and America experienced in Afghanistan, and America experienced in Iraq. With a small, determined fighting force in their home neighborhoods and in their homeland can be very difficult to defeat. They get stronger the more you repress them. They get more of a fighting spirit. The snipers and the dodge and duck type strategy on the streets of Gaza have been very difficult for the IDF to completely eliminate and wipe out Hamas. They've done a pretty good job, but Hamas has yet to be totally and completely defeated. Now, just a reminder, polled in December of 2023, Palestinians in Gaza overwhelmingly support what happened on October 7th. Now, 72% of respondents said they believed Hamas' decision to launch the cross-border rampage in southern Israel was correct. Now, let's be honest. How do you conduct a poll in the midst of a war zone? So let me actually give you a piece of data that is, I think, even more compelling. That the people who did October 7th, the terrible savages, when they returned to Gaza, they were celebrated as heroes. That is more persuasive to me. That there was parties in the streets of the people that returned from the horrific acts on October 7th, and they came to the streets of Gaza. That's more persuasive than some poll that is being done. I mean, they don't even have phones in Gaza. Well, I don't know what they have or they don't have. That is actually a much stronger data point. So this is a big problem for Israel. The question, is this a big problem for the United States? Is this a problem that we want to inherit? Is this a problem that we should have to supervise? Is this a problem that we should have to babysit and nanny because the Egyptians had control of it and they said, no way. Israel had control of it and they said, no way. And it's kind of in this murky middle ground. And those of us that are America first, it is a very serious question of how should we approach the Gaza-Hamas situation. Well, we're going to find out what President Trump means by own Gaza. Does he mean own it like he owns Mar-a-Lago? Or does it mean that we're going to own the activity and be responsible for managing a brokered deal?